Okay, so does divine feminine has to do the inner work? No. So that is the title of this video, and I know a little bit controversial, but stay tuned. I have a different perspective to give you around this. So, first of all, we need to understand that what we human beings are. We human beings are vessels. We are vessels for lower consciousness, we are vessels for higher consciousness, you know, and and you know who if we are in a lower consciousness, the entities or the demons, they truly amplify our lower consciousness. Okay, they get connected to us, and they can really amplify that. And once we are trying to move towards evolution, we are trying to um, do the inner work. So I'll come to that. So and we move towards the higher consciousness, then higher consciousness truly amplify that in human beings. So it's kind of like that. Okay, so human beings are vessels, and either the higher consciousness or the lower consciousness, they truly amplify a human being at the end of the day. So so yeah so you know um the divine feminine, the feminine energies, the true pure feminine energies, in the last many years have truly been vanished on purpose from our planet, because the more feminine energies are there, the because she is the one who's, feminine energies are what? Feminine energies, she's creative, she's intuitive, she can go beyond space and time, she can go beyond logic, she can go beyond emotion, she can go beyond the physical material world, see that, come down, and you know go about her life in the material world, right? So that is what she is. So it she has been completely vanished. Okay, by the way, I hope my audience do understand that feminine doesn't mean a woman. Feminine energies are present in both genders, male and female. Feminine energies are present irrespective of the genders. So I'm not talking about a specific gender, I am referring to she as a feminine energy. I hope we all get that. We are all mature enough to get that. Because I've really seen some men, they really embody very beautiful feminine energies. I do have seen, men like that. So or males like that, Okay, let's come back. So what has really happened, on our planet is that we have seen some really dark ages. The British had, eagles flying over. So we have really seen British colonize many parts of the world, and it has really caused a havoc, on the planet. We are Bharat itself, India itself, has seen many, invaders, Mughals, Britishers, you know, and so the many feminine parts of the world has truly suffered, because there was this one toxic masculinity present, you know um, on our globe. So it has gone, and how toxic masculinity is, how distorted masculinity is. It tries to dominate, it tries to control the feminine. Rather she how feminine, if you really have to gain something from the feminine, by if you really have to gain something from the feminine, you have to bow down to her, and you have to surrender to her, and she you can learn from her, you can collaborate with her. But rather what we did was we went and we tried to control her. We tried to, dominate her, and that led to self destruction, not only of them. Of course, our feminine, places and spaces, they also suffered, but even the, the masculine, the distorted masculine also saw their karmas. We saw how, world wars happened for them, and for the West. So yeah, so all these things, we've quite seen some really dark times. We have seen world wars, we have seen colonization period and everything. There was, imbalance of feminine and masculine on the planet altogether. So we have seen that, even our India as a feminine energy, it lacked some, healthy masculinity, we can say. you know but I think that completely happens. When you move into the feminine, you shed, those. But of course, it was a requirement of the time. India had to, put his masculine side, up front, healthy masculine side up front. It should know how to defend, because there will always be people like that on the globe. Okay, so let's just come back. So yeah, so we have really seen some dark times, and the feminine has gone from the planet. The feminine energies have really gone from the planet. That is how feminine works. You don't treat her right, you don't treat her, she cannot stay in there. She's not going to fight you, she's going to leave. Okay, that's exactly how a feminine energy is, right? So yeah, the Devi has left. you know um, I mean, not now, but yeah. So, nowadays, if you are somebody who can embody feminine energy, then it's such an honor, it's such a privilege, and it's a big thing. Totally a big thing, right? So, I myself, while I was a kid, I was very much in my distorted masculine energies, okay? Because, I was very much connected to my mind, and your mind is not yours. Your mind is of the society. Your mind is of the programming. Your mind is what others have to tell you. It's not your voice, okay? So I was very much connected to the mind. I was very much in my distorted masculinity while I was a kid, and I never felt home. And when I really, started my spiritual journey and everything, I started feeling home once again. When I started embodying my feminine energies, and by the way, I never read any newspaper article, never, there was not so much of a content that time, around feminine energies or something like that. It's only now that I can look back and I can see and I can label them, I can give them a language, you know I can give them a word of my own. But back then, I never knew that I was working on my feminine. And but yeah, I went from distorted masculine, and I started coming into my feminine. It's a process. It just you shed the distorted masculine slowly, gradually you start coming into your feminine. And that's what I am also doing right now, right? So as you become, first of all, how does that happen? you know how does a distorted masculine, so the transformation happened within my own self. So one thing is that it's very honorable and privileged to have these feminine energies. uh, you know and so what happens really? So what really happens is that, how she gets initiated into her femininity, true femininity. So one thing is that a true masculine, is going to, initiate her into her true femininity. So a true masculine could be in the form of a father figure, could be in the form of a female friend, could be in the form of a male friend, could be a romantic partner, could be, could be a relative, it could be anything, right? So or could be a guru as well. Okay, so so she gets, when she feels safe, you know that's exactly when she gets initiated into her femininity. Um, for whole lot of time our planet hasn't felt safe. Many spaces haven't felt safe enough to embody the feminine. When there are wars all over, when there is people are of a different type, there's a lot of mistrust around and everything, so everybody is in defensive energies, everybody is in their masculine up front, everybody has a masculine up front, and the feminine goes repressed. So that is what has really happened on the planet for a whole long time. So people have, you might have also heard, if you are if you have if your history, if your history graduates, or if your history people or something, you might have heard how whenever wars happen, the creativity, the art, it always goes down. The market, wow. So the market becomes more about, we need bread, we need to get the bread for today, we need to look for livelihood. When wars happened, how women were also sent to wars, because so um, but she is supposed to relax, right? Feminine happens when she's relaxed, when she feels safe. And I am repeating again and again, feminine stands for both male and females, okay? Feminine energies are present in both males and females. There are a whole lot of male artists that we need, who are really feminine, we need them. But you know so yeah. So the creativity, the art always goes down in such periods. Nobody's thinking about art, nobody's think, oh my god, oh yes, I do have my mic on. So yeah, so nobody's thinking about art, nobody's thinking about creativity, nobody's thinking about all these things. In a war, why would people think? The feminine goes into repression, she goes into suppression. So that is what really happens, right? So we have seen those times, and it is truly an honor and a privilege, to be in those energies, to be really in those energies. Now she truly gets initiated, right? And um, so yeah, let's just come to our point, that why. So I've given you a little bit introduction around, what all this is. I hope I have made myself very clear. So yeah, like now there are a whole lot of narratives coming on from social media, YouTube and everything, that she needs to do the inner work, she needs to do the inner work. But actually, um, I am not completely against inner work. Inner work needs to be done, right? But how they say that you should do inner work if you want to do it. you know like, as a kid, I always knew that I don't want to turn myself into some khadoos somebody. Like, my motivation for inner work has always been that I don't want to turn into a khadoos adult. What would be the right translation? The khadoos is just the right word. I don't want to turn myself into a you know an adult who throws off tantrums, who's always angry, is always frustrated, on every little thing. I knew that I don't want to be that kind of a adult as a kid also. So that has always been my motivation. Like, I don't want to lose my softness, I don't want to become something like that. Like, I don't want to become something like that. I don't want to become an oppressor, for sure. Like, being a victim is still okay, but not oppressor. And of course, you should not be even, should not even stay in your victim. Ultimately, you have to get entangled from both victor and oppressors, and you have to move towards God. So there is a third place which is beyond victor and oppressor. But I was very sure as a kid, like, not oppressor. I don't want to become that energy ever. Like, I don't want to lose the beauty in my energy. Like, I want to sleep tight, at night. I want that मुझे शांति से वो नींद आ जाए. ऐसा ना हो कि मुझे नींद नहीं आ रही है because I've done something like that. So yeah, so been always that. So I've always tried to protect my sensitivity, my softness, to try to do that, amongst the darkest, amongst the chaos, right? Very determined. And I sometimes don't even understand from where does that determination comes there. Malab, it's there is so much power inside of us, so much power inside of us. We can do what we want to do, and I never knew that I was doing what I was doing. Of course, gradually I can now put things into words,
but some things I was very unconsciously doing. So unconsciously sometimes we do good things also. you know so yeah. So yeah, I think how, I mean, but the narrative on social media, and of course there are a whole lot of frauds as well, who will tell you that do this meditation, and you you are a feminine, you are supposed to do the inner work, तुम्हारी वजह से ही union नहीं हो रहा है, तुम्हारी वजह से ही you're not in union with your masculine feminine, you're not in your inner union. Like, there's a whole lot of a, sometimes it just comes out in a form of a blame, like it's all happening because of you. Of course we are the manifestor of our reality, I do get it, but how sometimes these how sometimes these narratives come out, they feel like you're being blamed, and like you are less, you are not enough, like you are being told like that. How sometimes these fraud channels and everything, or sometimes even delusionals, they they keep doing inner work, in a feeling of like there is something wrong with them, there's something not enough with them. And that is what I want to come and clear out here, that feminine actually breathes in safety. Feminine actually breathes when she's fully accepted, when she's spoiled. you know she needs to be spoiled, like you are perfect, dear. She needs to be spoiled, and she needs to be accepted, and that's exactly how she gets initiated into her feminine. you know her flaws need to be accepted. She wants to be accepted, and that's when she gets into a feminine. And not because she has to do the inner work, because she's not enough, she has to do the inner work because her reality is not what she wants. Like, half of the things that you want from here are not even your desires. Okay, this mind is completely not yours. If you hear enlightened masters, they always say that this mind is not yours, and I would never understand that line. Why this mind is not mine? Of course this is mine. I used to think, back then, but now I do understand that how many voices we carry inside this. And the real voice that comes, it comes from my heart, it never came from here. you know my whole life has been this one voice fighting these thousand voices in my head, and these thousand voices were given by society to me, given by the programming to me. So I very well know that, right? Like, of course I understood later on all this, but while I was doing it, while nobody knew that I was doing it, I was doing it in silence. And I and and how it is not seen, it is such an invisible work that you do on yourself, that is such an invisible work. So I am not completely coming here trying to deny कि कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं है, inner work मत करो, ये मत. No, I'm not trying to do that. Of course inner work is necessary, but not because you're not feeling whole inside of you. Not because you're not, you are feeling that there is something wrong with you. Okay, and definitely not because you want something to manifest in your reality. Okay, not something for that at all. Stillness is a major part of manifestation. Stillness is very much, is actually the last part of manifestation you really have to go through. We can talk about it in another video as well. But the point that I'm really trying to make here is that she needs to be spoiled and not told that. And what has really happened on our planet, how women are being told, sit like a lady, don't sit like that, don't sit like men, don't laugh so loudly, don't speak so loudly, don't speak so boldly, you know or take care of your clothes. If something is visible in your clothes, like, hide that. She becomes so body conscious. She has been told a lot. Yeah, she has been told a lot. That's why her femininity, her true feminine essence, we've been telling her she's not enough. We've been telling her that she needs to take care, she needs to be conscious. If she doesn't do this, she is not a lady, she is not that. We have told her she is not beautiful, she needs to get her nose fixed, she needs to get her that fixed, she needs to. That's the last thing you do to a feminine. That's the last thing you do to her. You telling her that she is not beautiful. How can you see her beauty? Because you are going to see it with your two eyes, and they just know the 0.5% of the reality, 0.00005% of the reality that the whole planet is. Okay, so yeah, how you gonna see her, right? I hope my mic is on. Yes. So yeah, that was really the point that I was trying to come and make here in this video. I hope I was able to put my point across. There have been real frauds and delusionals out there who will tell you, you do the inner work, but you do it because you want to do it first of all. And there is nothing wrong with you, my dear. And yeah, that's just because she really grows, she really happens, she really takes birth. Wow, did you see that? I don't know. So she really takes birth when she is so she really takes birth when she is yeah, she feels safe. She feels accepted. She when you see your shadows, when you see your demons, the ego would want to put you into guilt. Yes, but your soul knows compassion and forgiveness towards yourself, towards others as well. You know, so yeah. How Krishna is a very feminine energy. How he used to lie sometimes, and how he used to play around, very playful, very feminine energy, right? Especially his childhood days, right? So how he used to lie and everything. So now what you will tell Krishna, he needs to do the inner work. Like, he should not lie, he should not do this. No, it's coming from place of purity. You know, feminine is playful, and it comes from a place of purity, right? I remember I was I don't know, I was just walking by, and I heard this. So my mom was listening to a katha vachak. So somebody who tells stories, and around the religion, around the god. So my mom was listening to somebody on the TV, and I'm really forgetting the name of that saint. But he said something so beautiful. He said that jab satya. Uh, so I'll translate into English later. So he said कि जब सत्य झूठ के मुंह से बोला जाता है, ठीक है, मतलब एक कपटी इंसान जब सच सच बोलता है ना, तो बहुत दूर जाने का मन करता है, भाग जाने का मन करता है। लेकिन जब एक सच्चा इंसान भी, या जैसे कई बार भगवान भी झूठ बोलते हैं लेकिन भलाई के लिए बोलते हैं, है ना? तो चल जाता है, समझ आ जाता है, एंड इट फील्स राइट somehow. Jesse Krishna used to lie, but it was his innocence. It came from a place of purity, right? So it's so beautiful in that sense. you know so so basically what he was really trying to say was that when lie comes from the mouth of a true person, it's good. It's still good. God sometimes might lie to you, but it's still good. But when lie comes out, but when truth comes out from a deceitful person, then you would want to just run away from that, because he's speaking the truth, and he has some bad intentions. So yeah. A feminine is already very pure. Once she comes into her pure state, once she has accepted her own shadows, once she has completely loved and immersed herself in self love, it's done. No inner work would be really needed, when she comes to that place, right? So yeah, I hope I was able to get my point across. Do let me know in the comment section, what do you think about the video, what do you think about this topic, right? And you can also let me know if you want me to cover any topic, around this or around that, let me know. Thank you for watching the video.